Mitti Ke Rang presents Humans of Mitti Ke Rang, a series of interactive live sessions with people doing exceptional work in their domain. Today, we have with us Mr. Yogesh Mathuria. Popularly known as Vishwamitra, he has dedicated his life to work on peace and wellness services after 30 years in corporate. He has also walked over 20,000 kilometers in 802 days through 5 countries and 23 Indian states to promote peace and harmony without the use of his personal money. Tune in and know more about his journey and life experiences. Is that you are called as Vishwamitra. So, why is that and how is that?
Okay. I hope you understand the meaning of Vishwamitra.
Yes,
Due to my
friend
walk
of the
around the world, due to my walk in various parts of India and various parts of the world, and when I decided that in spite of my heart attack in 2017, I'm going to continue my walk. My master said, Yogesh, you are doing like a Vishwamitra. You're leaving your personal interest behind and want to dedicate your work for the world. So I'm hereby giving you name Vishwamitra. That happened in precisely August 2017.
Okay. So then you said that you want to dedicate the second innings of your life, as you put it, to promoting peace and wellness. So when did you start this and how did you go about it?
Really speaking, my second inning started on my 50th birthday. I choose to leave my corporate world, and I had no idea I'm going to do what I'm going to do. But I decided at some point enough is enough, and I left my corporate world on 28th of September 2007.
Okay.
Last about 12 plus years, I have dedicated my life to work on wellness as well as world peace. So typically about last 5 years, I walk for 6 months in various parts of the world or various parts of India. And I spent 6 months providing service on wellness and healing wherever I am. So that's a typical way I balance. So before this lockdown started, anyway, this time I was on a longest walk of my life. 16 months I was to walk from Delhi to London.
Wow.
It was supposed to be 15,500 kilometer of walk, but you know the current situation. Given the situation, we had to come back from country name is Armenia. So just 2 days before we would have completed 6 months of our walk, we had to come back home. So incidentally, this time also 6 months of walk, and I'm back home and I'm working on with various needy people with wellness healing services from home using internet services. So that's how my first innings of 30 years of corporate global IT industry I closed. In last 12 years, I have given my life to serve people in some way.
Wow. So, a question that's come to me from the viewers as well, and that occurred to me as well. So, why did you leave the corporate world, and what was it that made you start a new journey in your life?
At some point, I believe it's more a destiny. I lost my wife through cancer in 2005, and I had just returned back from US in 2004 mid, and just within a week of returning back home, she was diagnosed with cancer. And I did whatever best one could do, but in six and a half, 7 months of treatment, she left us. That gave me a big shock of my life, saying what I'm doing. I used to be a crazy traveler. I had spent like almost for 7 years. I used to travel 15 days in US and 15 days in India. More than 100 visits to US. So that was an extremely crazy phase of my life. And after this event, I realized that is that life is meant for? And I started searching that what I should do now, because somehow that I had lost interest in corporate world. And I was telling her when she was alive, retire on Friday and then together. She was missing me because of my crazy schedule of traveling. I was not able to give time to family, to wife, to children, to parents. So somehow it occurred to me that it's a high time I change gear. And as I was telling when she was alive, I quit my highly paid corporate job on my 50th birthday. And as I told you earlier, I had no idea what I'm going to do. But somehow other destiny took me on this path. And only thing I can say, I'm really, really enjoying current phase of my life. And just to tell you, when I walk in unknown areas without any money in my pocket. And I'm so happy that in spite of all the so-called challenges people perceive, that in today's life, you cannot do anything without money. I went through my own challenges initially. But I'm convinced now that if you're adding value in human life, universe take care of you. That's how I've seen in last almost 800 days of my walk. I don't remember a single day where I had no food, no shelter. I am taken care. That makes my confidence and belief strong, and life is on. It's fun.
Amazing, sir. Amazing. So, is that why you choose the message to promote peace, wellness, and harmony in particular?
Can you repeat your question because voice was getting cracked?
Sure. So, considering the experiences you've had, is that why you chose particularly to promote the message of peace, wellness, and harmony?
Okay, I think at some point the story is pretty long. When I was very young, 9 years of age, two gentlemen had come to my home. I'm going back as long as 1966. And they had come down in Bombay to promote their book. The name of the book stands Bine Paise Duniya Ki Paidal Safar. So those two young friends had walked from Delhi to USA for world peace. So I got exposure of work for humanity, work for peace in very young age of mine. And when I was deciding what I should do now, formally, I met these two gentlemen again. And like a Hindi film flashback, entire story came on front. And I asked Satish Kumar, one of the guy, sir, you may not remember, but I know about your walk and about great work you did. What should be done in today's situation? And he told me same thing. India is such an amazing country. But India has challenged with all our neighboring countries. So if you are really looking to have work in area of world peace, start with walking in India. Understand our country and also extend your walk into neighboring countries. And that was the point I picked up, that I'll try and walk into each and every states of India. And by today, in last 6 years, I have walked in 22 states of India, barring Northeast and North J&K and Ladakh. More or less, I have covered up entire India, and also attempted multiple times to go into Pakistan. You know the situation, variety of reasons I could not go into Pakistan, but I had been into Sri Lanka. I also attempted to go to Bangladesh, but somehow other I had personal challenge. I had to terminate my walk in between due to family challenge. But I had fortune to walk into South Africa. Also in the current tour, I could go into Iran, into UAE, into Armenia. So I have walked in 5 international locations and various states of India. So inspiration really came from Satish Kumar's book, which I came across more than 50 years from today, 1966. And when I met him again, it became a driving force for my life journey.
Wow. So now that we know the background of why you started the work, I'll address some questions from the viewers. And one viewer, Vyomi, she asks, please share with us one of your most memorable stories from your walks, one that has reinforced your beliefs in the series of Peace Pilgrims.
Okay, this goes back to 2016, and we were walking in Tamil Nadu, and one of my friend called up saying, Yogesh, where are you? I told him the area I'm in. She said, Yogesh, are you aware present Prime Minister of Tamil Nadu, Jayalalitha, has passed away? I said, no, I have no idea. We are walking on the road. She says, tell me exact location you are in. and I would like you to go terminate your walk right now, because moment this news spreads outside, you'll have tough time. And I had no idea. She calls up in 10-15 minutes again. I had taken lightly, we were walking. She says, Yogesh, where are you now? I said, yeah, we are walking. She says, no, take away any bus or vehicle and get into a city and get into a hotel right away. I said, why so much? She said, Yogesh, in Tamil Nadu, it will be tough for you to walk because you will not find any single person on the road very shortly. And it will be very challenging situation. So please listen to me. So we took an auto and I told that we have no money. She said, don't worry, tell auto guy, when you reach to hotel so-and-so in a city called Ramnathpuram, the hotel guy will pay for your auto. So we got into auto. She could talk to local language and she could tell him. We reached to a hotel and that guy was practically waiting for us. Moment we got in the hotel, he put the shutters down. I mean, we had no idea why she was so much worried and concerned. We had our shower and we stepped out saying that we'll go out and eat food. The hotel guy said, sir, it's impossible to get food anywhere. I said, what happens in this situation? And she said, you just can't. So we had no choice to go back. We were wondering now what to do. We were hungry after almost 8-9 hours of walk. Now this guy realized he was not understanding fully our language, but he organized some basic stuff. Somewhere he got some water and a couple of banana. We had no choice to manage with that situation that evening. But at least he got us something to eat. Next day morning, early morning, I said, let me see the TV and confirm. In the hotel, there was TV. And we got news that, yes, she passed away at late night and 4:30 is the funeral time. So you can't walk till the funeral is completed. So I called up a local doctor friend. She said, you guys don't worry. One of my uncle will come and deliver you food. I said, great. Given the situation today, we can't walk. We were hungry yesterday. We had no dinner. In half an hour, some old gentleman comes and brought us hot idli and vada. Unfortunately, the gentleman was not knowing again language. In Tamil Nadu, we know in a villages, finding person talking Hindi is a very challenging. But anyway, the guy was understanding. My doctor friend had given her background. She says, I'll bring lunch. Only meaning I could understand lunch. And with body language, he said, he'll come back with lunch. The guy brought lunch. He came with some young boy and brought us wonderful hot lunch. We had lunch. Guy again says, evening, bring dinner. Some body language, we understood that he is going to bring us dinner. We had dinner. And by that time, I think funeral was done and market was opening up. So we said next day morning we'll walk. This guy says, where are you going to go now? In some broken Hindi, broken English. I said, our target is to go to Rameshwaram. He says, on the way to Rameshwaram is my home. And when he said, on the way to Rameshwaram is my home, ask him, tell me your village name. And I was shocked when he gave me village name. I looked into Google. That village was 33 kilometers away from the place we were staying. It simply means this guy came 3 times using some transport, and I realized that he took lift from somebody. That's how every time he had somebody else with him, he came 33 kilometer, brought us breakfast, went back, came back 33 kilometer, brought us lunch, went back. So almost 200 kilometers this guy traveled for one person. This was a live example of Atithi Deva Bhava, which is part of our value system. But I could see this in live. And not only that, next day he practically forced us to go to his home and have lunch. And that day evening again, when we walked to Rameshwaram, he brought us dinner. And he was so much caring. He says, in this situation, you may not get right food, right place. So I am very familiar with this area, plus the language. So I'll get you food. So next day also, he served us completely. And he said, Rameshwaram is like end of India. So what are you going to do now? I said, we are going to go back into other part of Tamil Nadu. He says, in that case, you must stay night at my home. So next day, practically we stayed at his home, and he organized entire village to come and meet us. It was very interesting that without knowing language, we could communicate with so many people in the village, and this guy was driving everything in the local language. So we realized when you are connected from heart, language or no language, if you want to serve somebody, you can do anyway. This was a live example, and that has stayed back in my memory. One of the best example of Indian value system, and especially in this part of the world, in Tamil Nadu, then we were not concerned about the language. In the rest of our yatra, I think after that we walked for around 36 more days in Tamil Nadu, but somehow or other we were taken care. So this was one of the closest experience in yatra in Tamil Nadu. Like this, there are many, many examples, but this was like the guy is not concerned of the curfew situation. Just somebody calls up that these guys are doing walk for world peace. He puts his own life to risk, travel 70 kilometers every time to bring us and serve us food. And next day also he's been, so practically 3 days he took care of us, whether lunch, breakfast, dinner, and connected with so many people. It was very touching moment for us.
I can imagine. That's a beautiful story, sir.
Thank you.
Moving on to another question that we have from a viewer. His name is Omkar. He asks, how did you manage to walk so many kilometers? What is your fitness mantra?
What is?
How did you manage to walk so many kilometers? What is your fitness mantra?
Okay. Anyway, like in earlier phase of my life in corporate world, my weight was almost 100 kilo. I had diabetes, I had blood pressure, I had high cholesterol. But my wife Dipasha taught me that health is the highest priority.
Mm-hmm.
And I started doing exercise and changed my diet and started doing daily walk. And in 8-month period, in the year 2011, I lost 30 kilo weight with strict management of my diet and daily exercise. But anyway, those days also I used to use quite a bit of gym and other support systems. But these days I do practice of daily 20-25 kilometer of walk, and that 20-25 kilometer walk get extended during the actual walk to 35-40 kilometer. average we walk around 35 kilometers. 30 means about 8 to 9 hours of walk every day.
Wow.
And I think walk has been one of the biggest blessing. And I do stretching early morning. And I normally, in terms of food, I take very good breakfast, lighter lunch, and practically no dinner. Take most light, and my dinner is done by latest by 6:37. So I ensure that there is almost 3.5 hours time before I go to bed. Typically, otherwise in Bombay life earlier, I used to come home at 9 o'clock, have dinner, and by 10 I'll go to bed. So I've ensured that I keep at least 3.5, 4 hour gap before I go to bed, as well as I eat the lightest meal at night. No heavy stuff like fried stuff or a sweet. Just take some basic salad so you are not hungry. And as a matter of fact, during this lockdown period, I eat twice a day only. I don't eat 3 meals because your body is not in major activity. I believe today's people have got into more health problem by overeating than by starving. And in today's fast life, typically people eat the heaviest meal in the night. I would recommend to change. If you don't take heavy meal at night, naturally you will feel hungry in the morning. But take the heaviest meal of the day in morning. Take lighter meal in afternoon, and take the lightest meal in the evening. And evening also, preferably having 3 hours gap before you go to bed. It's challenging, but somehow or I've learned it hard way, and I'm maintaining that, and that has really helped me to maintain my health. So I say many times to youngsters like you, I'm just 62 young.
Wow, I hope our viewers are noting down these tips and making sure they follow it, especially now that we are in lockdown. So I wanted to ask you is you used to walk every day 25 kilometers. So what has been your daily schedule during this lockdown?
Okay. I daily get up at morning 4 o'clock. By 4:30 I'm ready. I have about half an hour stretches at home. And then I take my car and go to Pune University ground. And from 5:30 I walk up to 8:30, 9 o'clock. So sometimes 25 kilometers, sometimes 20 kilometers. But that means typically 3 to 4 hours of walk in morning in University ground. That's been my morning routine. Come back home, take shower, and take your breakfast. And normally my breakfast is, we are Gujarati, so typically doklas and some idlis or some dosa in the morning period. And I take almost like a lunch, fair amount of, but again no fried stuff, no sweet dishes. And then because I get up very early morning, I take little time to get myself relaxed. And then the time I'm in home, my healing work starts at 10:30. I finish first round of work by 1 o'clock. And my ashram cum dispensary is very close from my home. So about 1:10 I'm back home. I take lunch and then I sleep in afternoon for about an hour. Go back to my ashram by about 3:30. Again 4 to 7 I take work. 7 I come home, take some light fruits or something, and my day is done. So this is the strict schedule I maintain. But in current lockdown period, after breakfast, there is no lunch. After this call, I'll straight away get into my dinner, come, lunch, whatever you call, and take 75% of my stomach capacity. I keep some space for it to keep it little light. And I finish by 6:37. 7 is the max period. And then I typically sleep by 10:30. So I have 3 to 3.5 hours of gap to digest my food, and then only I sleep. So this is the typical schedule these days. I know it's tough for today's young guys, especially I also know my daughter's been very young. They all spend pretty late night on mobile or laptop, and many time the time I get up, they go to bed. So it's challenging, but I paid very high cost on not focusing on health. So focusing on health is the highest priority in my life.
Right. It should be the highest priority in everybody's life. People are so busy in work nowadays that they have forgotten to give importance to their health, which is not right. And I think you are sending us a very, very important message here, sir. So thank you for that.
I think Corona has taught a lot of things to us. Like our Prime Minister said, "Jaan hai to jahan hai." The first focus is to be staying alive. Second, then you have to ensure whether money or no money. Many people who are starving because of shortage of food, but people are sitting at home who are blessed. They overeat and they get into health issue. So my very humble submission to all my friends, all our viewers, especially in this lockdown period, where you can't step out of your home, do some stretches at home. Keep your body agile and eat lightest possible meal at night. So as and when the lockout gets open out and you step out, your body is not a burden for you. You can just be as agile as anybody and get going back to your work.
Right. So I will end today's session with one last question, sir. It is that what message would you like to give to our viewers who are mostly in their first innings of life? So what would you like to say to them?
I think biggest lesson for me in my life was balance. You cannot in my younger days, I was believing that let's focus right now on money. And to earn money, you discount your health, you discount your family relationship, and suddenly you are come to a situation where your health is gone to toss, your relationship are also in challenge. So I believe, and I would strongly recommend to all our viewers, a balance. You have to earn money. Yes, there is no disrespect for money, but also have to keep high priority for your health as well as relationship. A guy who is able to balance all these things, he'll be real winner. And I'm trying to do as best as possible. And I think Corona has also given me space where I'm able to spend time with my daughters at home. This is the closest time ever we have spent together, and we have really, really great time. And I wish all of our viewers also have same opportunity.
Right. Thank you so much, sir, for the viewers who asked questions but we could not get to them today. You can get in touch directly with sir. So, sir, if our viewers want to know more about you, your work, your journey, how can they get in touch with you?
I mean, I'm pretty active on Facebook. Instagram is like my daughter taught me today. So I'm pretty active on Facebook, and my cell number is 98211 33587. Call me anytime, and I'll be happy to be at your service. It's indeed a pleasure to connect with you, friends, and especially I'm grateful to Mitti Ke Rang, because Amit has been one of the inspiration for me. And being a young guy, I know I had contemplated in very young days of my life to leave job and do some social work, but I didn't have courage to do that. These young boys really inspired me, and right now he's in some other part of India, but remotely managing from there. What work for underprivileged in your area? I salute him, and I thank you for the opportunity given to me also. And I would wish that we have more Amits in this world. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for joining us and enlightening us with your stories, your experiences, your journey. It's been very, very interesting to hear, and I'm sure we've all learned something from it today. So, thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
My
And
pleasure.
with this,
Thank you.
with this, we'll end our session today, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Thank you.